I think photos can help inspire all kinds of emotions. They can be beautiful. They can also help inspire wonder in people. So this is a photo of a tiny chameleon from the island of Madagascar. Do we have anybody from Madagascar here today? That would be really neat. This is a chameleon that is a fully grown adult. So it's really, really small, and I put it on a human finger so you can see just how tiny it is. Amazingly, it's not even the smallest species in Madagascar. The smallest one can actually fit on the head of a match. Photos can also make us care about species and places that are really far away from our homes, like this photo of a Sulawesi crested black macaque from Indonesia. And I saw earlier that we had somebody from Indonesia on this webinar, so that's wonderful to see. Photos can also make us aware of environmental issues, like the overfishing of sharks and other big fish that are found in our oceans. And this is an issue that's happening worldwide. So it was really this understanding of the power of photographs that inspired me to apply to National Geographic for a Young Explorers grant to go to the country of Peru to photograph conservation efforts in the Amazon rainforest. I just got a great question. Do I get scared? Yeah, sometimes I get a little nervous when I'm out in the forest, but it's absolutely worth it every time. But I love being out there in the forest. And in this case, I spent 10 months in the Amazon rainforest, and I was photographing these conservation efforts from the high Andes Mountains, seen here, all the way to the lowland Amazon rainforest. To make photos like this one, I would have to get up at 4:00 a.m. in the morning and drag myself out of bed and go into the dark forest in the middle of the night and to climb a radio tower that was about 60 meters high or 180 feet high so I could be above the canopy at dawn. But I wanted to do those things to really show how beautiful these landscapes are and to make people care about them. And Peru is full of adventures. In this case, we had to trek for a couple of hours through the forest. We crossed rivers 11 times, and then we camped in the forest for 10 days in Peru. I was working with these park rangers who were monitoring wildlife. But we went out there so that we could really show some of the animals that were living in this forest. I got to photograph some pretty cool critters like mustache monkeys in the Peruvian Amazon, scarlet macaques soaring above the canopy, and even some smaller creatures, because I really love to not just show the big charismatic animals, but the rarer creatures, the ones that are overlooked. So like monkey frogs, these really cute little frogs that are found in the understory and are a little bit camouflaged. And I'm telling you about Peru because it was a really great learning experience for me. Of course, it was an adventure, but more than that, it was a learning experience because I got to work with students. As part of my project in Peru, I was able to give presentations and photo workshops to students in schools. And these are some of those students out bird watching in one of the forests. And as I shared my photos of wildlife with these students, like the mustache monkey or the scarlet macaque, what I realized is that these students had almost never heard of these animals. They actually knew more about elephants and giraffes in faraway Africa than they did about the incredible animals that are found essentially in their backyards. And that was a very important moment for me as a photographer because I really realized that we have to connect kids with nature in the places where they live. Kids are not going to care about protecting wildlife if they don't even know that these species exist.